You have Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Joe?
Yes, I do.
Then
Okay.
Wii U or Switch?
Wii U. Honestly, from what I've heard and read about the Switch version, there's not real enough incentive for me to get that version.
Well, I don't own a Wii U, so
Well, you have an option at least.
now I have the option, and I wanted to play that game, but it was a Wii U exclusive, and I'm like, I'm not wasting my money on a Wii U.
Good joke.
I'm gonna be honest. I bought the Wii U specifically for Splatoon and Smash Brothers.
Here's the thing about the Wii U. Its roster wasn't bad. It didn't have a bad lineup of games.
It could have been better.
I mean, it could have been better, but it didn't have a bad lineup. Like Super Mario 3D Land, Mario Kart 8, Splatoon, Pokken,
Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101.
Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101.
Star
Yep.
Fox Zero, Wind Waker
Pikmin
3.
And that's a mixed one. I didn't play it, but
Pikmin
that was
3
a mixed
existed.
one.
Pikmin 3 existed,
Pikmin,
Yeah.
which, a good portion of those games are already on Switch.
Yep.
Or going to be on Switch.
Hyrule Warriors was a Wii U thing.
Which then came to Switch.
It got Breath of the Wild during the lifespan.
But at that point, you might as well just gotten a Switch.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like all of the stuff on the Wii U is getting ported to the Switch, so the Wii U's becoming obsolete.
Unfortunately, but
Yeah.
in my case, I have my Wii U in the sheer instance that my Wii just fucking dies on me. I have another
Yeah.
emulation machine,
Okay.
so I could just boot that up and just get everything in there. Only
Yeah.
thing I might have an issue with is that GameCube controller support.
Right. Well, even then, the Switch has an adapter for that. So,
No, it's more for the Wii U specifically, because when you try to emulate it, it doesn't register the GameCube adapter.
okay. Just man up and use a Pro Controller. No, I'm kidding. But,
I mean, I do use the Pro Controller. It's just, it's not fun to play GameCube games on that thing.
yeah. I will say, one thing about... What is one thing about the Wii U that didn't come over to the Switch?
The fourth Fatal Frame game.
Bruh.
That's the only thing that comes to mind right now.
Come on, bruh.
Hey man, you asked. I gave you an answer. What you do
I mean,
with
that
that
is
answer
probably
is
the right. That's probably the right answer, but at the same time, it's like,
I miss Miiverse.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I missed the Miiverse too.
I mean,
They did have that Game Boy Advance Virtual Console too.
That is true.
Oh,
Well, no, they had the Virtual Console up to Nintendo 64, which was really nice.
okay. Well, so did the Wii. Only it didn't
Yes.
have handheld stuff on it.
But the Wii U had DS stuff because you were able to play DS
That's
stuff.
right.
Yes, the
Yeah,
Wii
they did have
DS
that
games.
Nintendo DS Virtual Console too. So, okay, yeah. That Virtual Console is just something that needs to come back.
Yeah, Xenoblade X, but Xenoblade X.
Oh,
We got-
Xenoblade X. Okay, yeah, that's a better one. That's a better example of something that's like it's got to come to the Switch eventually.
Eventually.
Eventually, technically, 3D Land and Paper Mario Color Splash don't have a Switch port, so they're Wii U exclusives.
That is
Um,
true.
But I bet you, like, for Mario's next anniversary, they're gonna release. There's a big theory that they're gonna release an anthology of like the best of the 3D platformers.
I feel like they need to release the Paper Mario anthology.
The Paper Mario anthology?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, Kaz.
That's
Before,
a tall order you're asking for.
okay, Kaz. I need you to take off your hipster glasses for a second and let me finish my point.
Nah, he doesn't have glasses though, man. He has 20/20.
Oh, jeez. But there is a rumor about a platformer compendium that would have, like, I think a remastered 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and the first Mario Galaxy. But there may be but it may include Mario Galaxy 2, 3D Land, and
3D
and
World.
and 3D World, which deserves a console remake.
I have heard of this platformer. I don't even know what the word I was gonna use.
Like Mario Anthology?
Yeah, like a Mario 3D Mario collection, but
Yeah.
I haven't heard any confirmation of when it's coming out or what's gonna be included.
Right. The only thing I've heard was that the anthology would include 64, Sunshine, and the first Galaxy, which is a good enough anthology on its own. All of those are really solid games.
Agreed.
Hopefully they get remastered graphics for the Switch, or the 64 version is just like, if you guys remember Super Mario 64 on the DS, like
Yes.
maybe a remastered version of that port, because it is a stylized port.
It is, but at the same time,
It's a different game
I could go
too.
without it.
Huh?
I could go without the.
I mean, yeah, I could go
DS
without it too,
add-ons.
but like a modernized Super Mario 64 with like HD graphics, like come on, champ. With the Switch, like no, I mean, yeah, there won't be any backwards long jumping through multiple dimensions, but come on.
I'm gonna be skipping the infinite staircase with only like less than 75 stars.
I mean, okay, can I have a? It's not a hot take, but it's just a perspective.
Yeah, what do you take?
Well, it's not even really a take. It's just something I noticed. Joe, you know I'm going to school for game design, right?
Yes.
A lot of people rate certain Nintendo games highly as like peak game design,
Okay.
and I've just never been interested in them or never played them. Like, a lot of people grew up with Mario 64, and
Yes.
it revolutionized the 3D platformer. I've never played Mario 64. A lot of people look to The Legend of Zelda for like world building and character design, like
Yeah.
Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask,
Twilight Princess.
Breath of the Wild. Nowadays,
Yeah.
the only Zelda games that I've played were Minish Cap on the GBA and Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild held my interest for a couple hours. Then I realized I had to go to the opposite side of the map after trying two different, like, you know, after you do the first tower and you have to set your destinations,
Yes.
and you have 3 destinations to set. I go to the first one and I fight and I'm trying to get past one of those robot things, those robot guardian things, and I can't get past that. I go to the second one and it's up the side of a cliff that I don't have enough stamina to reach. I look at the map to see where the third one was. It's literally on the opposite side of the map. So I'm like, okay, I'll take a break. I switched to Mario Odyssey. I haven't picked up Breath of the Wild since.
Now, here's something that Kirby brought up. There's always a way. In Breath of the Wild, there's always something that you can do that would allow you to get through a certain obstacle. Maybe it's not the proper way that they intended it to, to go down, but the way how the game is essentially done is like you can do it in any way you want. As long as it's, within the game's boundaries, you're able to do it.
Right.
Like, yeah, you may not have the stamina, but if you have the glider and a fire arrow, you could just glide right up. And
Here's the thing, I'm
cut
not
through
at that
half
point
of
in the
it.
game yet. I don't have the glider. I have to get to the opposite side of the map to get the glider.
Oh my god.
That's the thing. It's like, oh, I'm really early in the game, and I gotta go all the way over there after trying 2 different things.
Do you
like,
remember doing all the tutorial chambers?
I remember doing the first one, and that's when the tower went up. I liked the dungeon. I liked that problem solving. It put a few creases on my brain, and I was looking forward to doing more. But it's like, okay, now I gotta walk through like 6 miles of open grassland just to get there, and it's like, I don't know, Chief.
I think it sounds like you strayed way too far from the tutorial area.
Well, no, because
You can't even leave the tutorial area.
I can't.
Yeah, you're not.
You can't leave that area.
Yeah, you're. The thing is, like, how did you encounter guardians already?
It's in that. It's in like the center of the. I would boot the game up and see, but it's like there is a dungeon that has a big, weird-looking guardian. I think it's the guardian because it's got the tentacles for legs
Does
and
it shoot?
the eyes.
Does it mostly shoot laser beams at you, or does it carry
Yes.
weapons?
It shoots lasers.
Does it move, or is it stationary?
It looks like it could move, but it stayed stationary.
I think I know.
The more
which one you're
details
talking
you
about.
ask of me, the harder it is for me to remember.
That's the thing. I need the details so I can remember where it is.
Oh,
I mean, like, using impression.
it's hard to help somebody who has bad memory remember something when I don't have a good memory of that event.
I hear you. Look, I think I know what you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure you could get around that pretty easily.
I probably could, but I just haven't found a reason to go back. I swapped to Mario Odyssey, had a much better time. I still have to finish Odyssey, but I had a much better time with Odyssey, and yeah. So
Kirby's just saying that you don't got the big brain.
I got the big brain. I just don't care.
You don't got the
Just
big
don't-
brain.
No, I could. Here's the thing. If I wanted to do it, I know I could do it. I just don't know if I want to do it. Like, I've never been a Zelda guy. That's just the thing.
Yeah,
like,
I've never been a Zelda person either. It's just kind of like been a whatever game to me. Like, I only have attachment to Mario and Pokemon.
I unfortunately have an attachment with a lot of games because that's quite frankly just how I am. I just play whatever that catches my interest. Like,
I mean,
I play Zelda, I play Mario, I play Sonic, I play Metroid. I play shooters, platformers, RPGs.
I mean, so do I. I have a pretty eclectic taste, but I just can't get into Zelda. I just can't.
The only Zelda type game I got into was Okami, but that's because it had a more interesting premise.
I have Okami. I wanna play it.
If you don't like Zelda, then you probably won't like Okami.
Yeah, if you don't like Zelda, you're not gonna like Okami if that's the case.
I mean, I'll still give it a try because I bought it physical because it's a Japanese import, and it's like I might as well play it and give it its merits.
It's a great game.
From what I've played, it is a good game. It's just I haven't had a reason to actually go back to it. I put like 5 hours into it, and I was like, okay.
This is cool.
And that was me and Zelda. Like, come on now.
No, like I liked what I played. That's the thing. Like I've always been meaning to get back into it, but I've unfortunately always been in this loop of I have so much to play, and yet I don't know what to play.
See, that's me with every game, and I just be like, hey, Final Fantasy is my best friend. I can just go back to that game.
That's me with Borderlands and Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, like Dynasty Warriors 8, Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
Isn't Dynasty
There's
Warriors
a Dynasty Warriors Gundam?
Yes, and it's fucking amazing. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, if you're a fan of Gundam, you're gonna get a kick out of this.
I know some people who like Gundam, but never really been a Gundam guy either. I don't know if this is like hurting you, Joe, but it's like, nah, it's yeah.
You're killing me here, dude.
Look, we're in a call with Kaz. You shouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I know, but wow. All right.
I mean, you heard his fighting game takes.
Wait, his or mine?
Mine.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Since he wants to have fun in his fighting games, and a lot of fighting game people say no, only grind and study frame data.
It's like, here's the thing. When I want to play the game as, like, intended, because I want to play the game on its own merits and learn how to play it properly, but I don't need the grind. Like, I just want to throw the hands with some boys, and it's like...
Here's the thing, though. Yeah, you have the way that is intended to play the game, but no one's actually going to be... Not a lot of people is going to be playing the game the way it's intended. They're going to try to find a way to play the game that will suit them, and if within the game's parameters a player is able to do that, they will definitely do it. I was actually funny how you brought that up. I was looking up stuff. Well, I wasn't looking up stuff. My YouTube feed just kind of handed me stuff that was related to Melee, and it's like, and I was like kind of interested in it because, you know, what makes Melee a game that people love, and I'm like, this game was made in 13 months and it's held together with duct tape and super glue. Yeah, duct tape
and
glue,
people love it.
Well, yeah,
why?
They love it because of the mechanics that weren't supposed to be there.
Mechanics that might as well be failed programming for it being a rushed Smash Brothers title.
It's failed the rushed programming.
It's rushed programming that was left in and can't be altered because it was so... Because this was the GameCube era. You couldn't patch a GameCube game. Come on now.
But now people are going back and looking at the files and changing stuff themselves. But it's not going to change the official... No,
it won't. The only thing that you'll probably, keep it official while, modifying is, your standard skin swaps and whatnot, but that's about it. The closest things Melee actually got to a patch would be the greatest hits version.
Or no, it was probably the PAL version.
Yeah, I thought it was the PAL version.
Yeah, alright. It is the PAL version, but the PAL version is also the greatest hits version.
Oh.
So, the base version, of course, is version 1, and then you have the PAL/greatest hits version, which is like version 1.2 or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's like 1.02.
In which case, Fox was actually nerfed.
Going by a slight margin.
By a slight margin, but he was still nerfed. And for most parts, that's how games would get patched back then. The greatest hits version. It went the same way. It's not a fighting game, but it's a similar practice. For Metroid Prime on the GameCube, the base version is what a lot of players would play, especially speedrunners, because there's some bugs in that game that were removed from the greatest hits version, which was an updated patch.
I think some of them were removed from the trilogy too, because...
Oh yeah, the trilogy is based on the most updated versions.
Okay.
So all those tricks they just don't work. Unless if you're playing the original GameCube version. Yeah, like, in terms of game design, like, you can't expect every player to play the games within the way that you want them to play. Like,
I've learned to consider video games like... You gotta think of a video game more like a very complicated toy. Like, it's up to the consumer to make the fun out of the toy once it's out of the dev's hands.
Yes.
Like, so it's one of those things you kind of have to reside to. It's like you can't expect somebody to.
I mean, people go against Sakurai's way of
thinking with Smash being a party game, and just took it to a competitive level.
Yeah, like, he's not making the game to be competitive, but people are making it competitive, and he doesn't like that. Like, you have to look at it from the creator's eye. You have to look at it from the creator's eyes too, because
Right. Well, that's where you get to the point of like, well, who are you making your game for? Like, because you can't go into making a game trying to please everybody. That's just not gonna work.
well, when you look at Smash, he's making the game for Nintendo. He's making the game for video game fans.
Right.
That's it. But people are trying to make it into not about that. They're making it into numbers and stats and whatever they devolve it to. And then that's not what Sakurai is making the game for. He's making it as a celebration of video games, not to be this competitive 1v1 fighter.
Do you remember that video that I sent you, Kez?
Yeah.
What makes Melee a good game?
Yeah, like all the single player content in that game is...
Yeah, it's Garbo.
Like, it was fun when you were a kid, because you were like, anything was fun when you were a kid.
Yeah, but I want to bring that up because Armada made a reaction to it. And
yeah, I watched. Which I watched as well.
Oh, you watched that too?
Yeah.
Did you see his did you notice his responses were like not really related to the video at all?
No, they...
Like, I feel like that's just a I think that's just a people thing, because some people relate to games on their own, in their own way, and however they get their satisfaction from it, that's up to them, and you can't blame them for it because you know, fun is the most subjective thing about games.
We should let Joe in. We should let Joe in the stream.
No, it's fine. I mean, I'm off tomorrow. So
okay.
We could keep talking shit, but I would like to end this, but you know, this topic is actually very interesting because you know you want to get into game design. And funny enough, my friend Mig was trying to make like some kind of a game at some point, and he just goes up to me and is like, John, I know this is gonna sound stupid, but you played a lot of games. Would you like to help me see if I got the right idea? And it's like, okay, well, what's it gonna be? He's like, I need help with balancing.
Ooh, yeah.
That's gonna be subjective, but I'll do what I can. Like, the whole thing is, and he understands it because he loves the Metroid series, and he knows that if there's a mechanic in the game that you could use at any instance. In this case, his favorite Metroid game is Super Metroid. And from the get-go, you have the ability to wall jump. And you don't know how to do a wall jump until, like, you encounter local wildlife on the planet that you're going through. I think it was like Planet Zebes.
That is Super Metroid, where
Yeah.
the animals ironically teach you how to do certain things.
Yeah, they teach you how to do the wall jump, and I think they also teach you how to do the shine spark when you get the speed booster. But when you don't need those animals to pretty much initiate you doing these actions. The wall jump, you're able to do it as soon as the game starts. The shine spark, as soon as you get speed booster, you're able to do it. And with that, you're able to do a lot more things that you really shouldn't be doing in terms of the way how the game is designed. But because it works, that's how players would rather do it. That's how players would rather play. You can't do anything about it because that's unfortunately how it's done. If a player is able to break something within the game, they're gonna find something else to break.
Oh yeah.
Like I think speedrunning is fine.
I think two things that are kind of evident is that one, somebody's always gonna take video games more seriously than somebody else. Hence why we have a competitive scene and speedrunners and all that good stuff.
Yes.
Because somebody always wants to take it to the next level. And two, you can't please everybody. Like, I feel like you make a game for a certain audience, but be happy with what people that seemingly are outside of your audience do with it. Like,
you should always focus on you should always have a target demographic.
you're right.
However,
But people that are going to actually, the majority of people that are actually going to, buy the thing.
Yeah, your target audience is what's gonna matter. If it ends up expanding past that, that's even better. However, you shouldn't expect that every player is gonna be playing the way how you anticipated the design for.
No, that's just illogical.
No.
I mean,
make it to the best of your abilities. Try to, to make it as polished as possible. But at the end of the day, there's still
it's not your game anymore.
Yeah, at that point, by the time it's already out in shell, like in stores or downloadable, whatever it may be, by that point, it's out of your hands. Whatever the players do with the game, it's up to them.
Yeah.
And if they do play it the way how it's intended on the first run, alright, that's perfectly fine. But multiple playthroughs, you're going to start experimenting and do some weird shit.
We're kind of going back a little bit. Why do you think Sakurai made Brawl the way he did?
Why do you think Sakurai made Brawl the way he did?
Yeah, after Melee.
To try and get his original point across?
Yeah, that's literally what happened. Just to have the original idea of what he wanted Smash Brothers to be. And
why do you think tripping exists? Like,
I know people hate Brawl, but Brawl is the better game, content-wise.
Alright, compared between Melee and Brawl, yeah, Brawl is the superior
it's the fuller game, but mechanically speaking, it's not the greatest, but it's not meant to be the greatest.
Look, if Melee and Brawl were put in front of me and I was to decide which one I would rather play, I would pick Melee over Brawl because I just think Melee feels better to play than Brawl. But I'm not going to say that Brawl is a bad game. Yeah, I will still play Brawl, but I will pick something else before I play Brawl.
Well, that depends, because, it's am I playing this by myself? Am I playing it with the homies? Because
if you're playing by myself, I would choose Brawl because Brawl has the bigger content. But if I wanted to play with the homies,
I don't know.
Both are good options to play with it's Smash. At the end of the day, it's Smash.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just kind of don't like Melee, so
Yeah, I don't.
I just don't like. I just like it's not. It doesn't have a lot. Like
No, it's
outside of what people made out of the competitive scene, because
that's all it has. That's all Melee has.
yeah, like
You don't go back to it because, people would go back to it because it had Mewtwo back in the day, and you couldn't play Mewtwo in Brawl.
no, you couldn't.
No, you had
But-
Lucario.
Yeah, so people would go back for that. But since now Ultimate is out, why go back to Melee?
Right.
There's literally no reason to play Melee unless you're super interested in playing competitively, which is...
To be honest, there's no reason to go back to Smash 4 because of Ultimate. If anything, Brawl has that Subspace Emissary, which no game has done since then, and it's that's the best single player thing that we got out of Brawl. So why not do it again? I don't know.
They tried and they didn't really succeed that well.
What with World of Light?
Yeah,
we
World of
thought
Light.
World of Light was going to be...
That's not like Subspace Emissary.
That's why
No.
I said they tried, but it didn't work out too well.
No. That's not. No. They didn't try to replicate it. They just tried to. They did something completely different. They took a different route to make an impactful single player experience that wasn't the Subspace Emissary. It's different. If anything, I'd like to see a platformer that just plays like a platform fighter, but is all single player story. That would be interesting in a weird 2D Platinum Games type of style.
Wasn't that just Viewful Joe?
Yo, I was about to say the same thing, dude.
Was it?
Beautiful
it
Joe is literally a 2D beat 'em up that's also a platformer.
I've
Yeah.
never played Beautiful Joe.
I would recommend you
tell
to play
that
Beautiful Joe.
my eclectic taste didn't really show up until I hit high school.
Yeah,
I
that
recommend you
was-
try out Beautiful Joe.
Kirby literally said Viewful Joe at the same time as us.
For real.
I've never played Beautiful Joe.
Try it, you'll love it. If you like Platinum Games, this is literally the studio before they became Platinum Games.
Right.
So it's a fun ride. It's on GameCube and PS2. If you want a lot of neat extras, I'd say play the PS2 version.
Okay.
But if you really don't care, just play the GameCube version. It doesn't matter. Same thing with the sequel, Beautiful Joe 2. They're both are really great games. I prefer 1 over 2, but I cannot deny the quality of 2. So, emulate it, buy it, I don't care how you play it, just give it a shot.
I'll see what I can do.
I mean, hell, if you want, I own the games, you can make a request and I'll show you how. You can make a request for me to play through it or sample
Right.
it, and I'll show, and you can see for yourself how you like it.
Is that a request you want me to put, or is that a request?
It's just a suggestion.
Okay.
Alright, Kaz, I got a question for you, because
What's that?
this is another Capcom game around the time that Beautiful Joe came out. Have you heard of a game called Product Number 3, or PNO3?
Product
No.
number 3? What is that?
It is a very weird action game by Capcom. Pretty much it's, in terms of the way how it's designed, it's in the similar vein of Devil May Cry, but you play as this android that just loves jittering around and shoots beams out of her hands.
That was part of the Capcom 5 or whatever. It was Viewful Joe, Killer 7, that game, RE4, and then I forgot what the last game was.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually I've played a little bit of it. It's actually interesting, but goddamn, is it slow? Oh yeah. The 5th game was an unreleased title, so it unfortunately ended up breaking down to a Capcom 4.
That was a weird time.
It really was a weird time, because those 4 games ended up being ported to fucking PS2 afterwards.
Even though they said they weren't gonna be.
Contract expired.
It's why we have so many ports of RE4 today.
Product number 3 was not one of the Capcom games. Was not part of the deal.
No, it was. It was part of the deal.
Was it?
Yeah, it was part of the deal. Yeah, he means the ports.
Oh, the ports. Well, yeah, the PN number 3 unfortunately never got ported, but even then, that game was. I didn't hear a lot of people talk about that game, which already shows like what people thought about it. But it's a very weird game. It's slow, but it's interesting at the same time. It's the weirdest combination you could ever have for a video game.
Kind of funny how RE4 and Killer 7 are the only ones that get ports outside of the GameCube.
Yeah, and one of those games got more ports than the other.
It's interesting. What was my original point? Something about
game design.
Something about game design.
Of designing it for your, like, who you're designing the game for.
I think, yeah, we talked about that, but I'm thinking about something beforehand, like how this originally started. Like,
I mean, we were talking about Smash development, and then it just
we were talking about Smash, but I was. I was talking about what people consider peak game design. That's what.
Yeah, peak game design.
Peak game design.
The thing I would say that would be a person-to-person basis, as well as what genre you're even referring to.
Right, because when it comes to like peak RPGs for like beginners, I feel like Thousand Year Door is peak game design.
See, I want to agree with you, but at the same time, I feel like I haven't played enough RPGs. As someone who, I would say that I'm an RPG guy, I can honestly say I don't feel like I've played enough RPGs to even make that claim.
Really?
I have not played enough RPGs to even, solidify the statement that Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is an RPG, peak RPG design for beginners.
Oh, that's great. I'm going like into the woods.
Is he okay?
I don't know. I think he just stepped away.
Oof.
But yeah, I really don't know. Like, I haven't really played a lot. Like, I've played a good number of games. Like, I played action RPGs. I've played turn-based. I've played strategy RPGs. There's so many that I'm like, unless if you already know like what you should be expecting, or like even if you don't know what you're expecting, it's hard to even say, because there's some people that would say that Final Fantasy IV for an RPG is very accessible, as well as Final Fantasy VI. But I'm like, I haven't played those yet. Like I haven't played them fully. Like, I only tried them out for like a few hours before I just said, okay, yeah, this is all right. I'll probably get back to this later. And never ever went back to it.
It all depends on what keeps you, because it's like, or what holds your attention.
Like, I could say, like, from what I've played right now, that for an action RPG, Ys 8 is like pinnacle game design. for an action RPG, it does a lot of things right, and it does. In terms of of gameplay, it's also very rewarding for its built-in mechanics. Yeah,
Is this technically podcast time?
this might as well be podcast time. Yeah. But at the same time, like, if we're gonna go for an RPG that's like where you're looting a lot, like Diablo and Borderlands, those two are like equal in terms of design. I can't really say which one will be superior. Like, I would prefer Borderlands because I like first-person shooters.
But even then, there's other first-person shooters. Like, Borderlands is a hybrid of RPG and shooter.
Exactly.
But like, if you want like pure shooter design, like that would probably be BioShock.
Probably, yeah.
BioShock is peak game design for like I watched a review on BioShock, and like how the guys talked up, like how he talked about like they want to make the game like very open, like, and you can just like go to that place and not be so restricted. It's like they really did put their heart into BioShock, and you can really tell like the world building is great.
Oh yeah, the world building is great. The gameplay is phenomenal. Was fantastic for the time, and the fact that it was atmospheric, while like it didn't. Yeah, like there was shooting in it, but it wasn't really a main focus because you also have different abilities that will go along with it to pretty much complement your arsenal.
Yeah, and like stuff like Halo 3 that has like peak multiplayer shooter design. Like single player, yeah, people liked it, but like where would like the multiplayer was where it's at.
Like, can you really say that Halo 3 was peak first-person shooter game design when people say the same thing about Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare?
I mean, both of them were peak. Both of them had their own strengths and weaknesses.
And
here's the point that I'm trying to. Here's the point that I was trying to make. It's just, I know people like take their own philosophy on what makes a game good, what makes a game fun, like what they consider like the pinnacle of game design, and it's like, well, you can't go off of what everybody says. You gotta take your own take what you can from what you're interested in, because not everybody plays everything. So
no, absolutely not.
And not everybody enjoys everything. So what you consider to be good game design, I feel like for aspiring developers, you take that and you then apply that to what you design.
I mean, like when people make their games now, people always make them like inspired by other games.
Well, I feel like that's because I don't know. Well, that's because those are the games that people grew up with. Like, the reason why there was such a big Metroidvania movement, and it's like, the reason why Metroidvania is a genre is because of the two games that make up its name.
Yeah, Metroid, well, it was most specifically for Castlevania Symphony of the Night, yeah, I mean, Metroid was, what started it, but the fact that we had a completely different series ended up taking up a position that was similar to Metroid's design philosophy ended up working so well that they also implemented RPG elements into the fucking thing.
Yeah, and let me say this. Even like massive games like Final Fantasy XIV were still inspired by other games. Like when you play Final Fantasy XIV, you can tell the guy loved MMOs and wanted to make his own MMO, and he got the money and power to do so, and now it's one of the best MMOs on the market because he was inspired by the games he played when he was younger.
I mean, hell, now that since you guys brought up Castlevania Symphony of the Night, there's people that would even say that for the Metroidvania genre, Symphony of the Night was like the peak, and that no other game has ever reached that peak. The only other example the only other game that would probably hit such a stride is
Super Metroid.
no,
Really?
another Metroidvania title. The what was it? Ritual of the Night, the Bloodstain game.
Wait, Ritual? People rate Ritual of the Night that highly? I thought people rated Hollow Knight that highly. Like,
Well, no, Ritual of the Night is a great game. I still have yet to finish it myself, but it's a great. It was made by the same person who made Castlevania, because
yeah, it was made by the same person. So he ended up getting his own team, or the team that he worked with previously, to get
made his own company and then made his own game.
you know, better than Keiji Inafune did.
Keiji Inafune was kind of a We don't talk about Keiji Inafune.
Yeah, look.
Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is also a Metroidvania.
Yeah, Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania, but the thing is, I don't hear a lot of people talking about Hollow Knight, so I can't really say anything about it. I haven't even played it myself, and I have it.
Hollow Knight is kind of like one of those weird under the radar games. Like people who played it say they love it, but it's never like talked
I
about.
thought Hollow Knight blew up. What?
I never seen it blow up. That's the thing.
Yeah, I've
Really?
seen it. I've seen people play, but it's never been like crazy in my feeds.
Really? You know
Did I-
why? It's not Undertale. It's not it. You know what it is? Well, it's not as like crazy. Like, it's not as. It appeals to a certain like what?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting with a laugh. I'm just reading the chat, because every time there's an indie direct, everyone else I see goes, so when's Silk Song?
Right.
So,
That's the sequel.
So no Silk Song, throws phone on the floor.
I mean, Nintendo people are fucking entitled anyway.
The Nintendo Directs are a whole nother topic of discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see Hollow Knight has been rated really highly.
It's rated really highly, but it just went under. But no one really talks about it.
I think it went out of the spotlight really quick. I think Cuphead released around the same time it did.
Oh, when did Hollow Knight come out on Steam? It's a good measure.
You look up Hollow Knight, I'll look up Cuphead.
Hollow Knight, yeah, 2017, and then when
Cuphead 2017. September 29th.
Yeah. Hollow Knight was.
Yeah, it had to compete with Cuphead, and people like. I feel like Hollow Knight came, did its thing, and went. Cuphead made itself more distinct. Like, also it got a lot of publicity from that one journalist that did really poorly at it.
Yo, we don't talk about that. The less we talk about that jackass is...
But you see where I'm coming from with that, right? Like,
yeah, everyone has a different perspective of what they think will be peak game design, and the thing is that it in this instance it'll be more a question to you. What do you find as peak game design?
Yeah,
I don't know, to be honest. Like, because no game is perfect. Like,
I mean, yeah, no game is perfect. I mean, I still have fun with fucking GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64, but that's just mostly because that I grew up with that fucking game.
yeah, it's like at what point does a game become... At what point do you, like, take fun over quality? Like, what happens to games that are so bad they're good? Like...
I played Sonic 06 as a kid, and I thought it was great.
Well, Kaz, here's the thing. When you don't have a developed, like, way to establish a critical thunk about games, like, that could just be ignorance. Like,
Well, yeah, I was ignorant. I thought every game I played was God's gift, because you didn't care when you were a kid. You're just like, oh,
you just played. You just had fun. We didn't have the internet when we were kids.
Yeah, we didn't know.
At least not to the extent that we do now. Like,
yeah, and now it's like you didn't know what you're gonna get when you're buying Sonic 06.
no, you didn't.
I mean,
Like,
I've heard stories about it. I just got really curious. And at
Okay,
first, I didn't think it was as bad, and then I played it a second time, and I was wondering, what the fuck was I thinking?
Oh no, that game is terrible, but I will still defend it.
I can. The only reason I will defend that game is for the music. That sounds.
I mean-
that OST is fucking amazing.
It is a great OST, but here's the thing about that. Sonic's music direction was always founded on being good. It's like Sonic would never, ever have a bad OST. Ever. If anything, regardless of the quality of the games, they would always have a good OST.
Unless you count Fist Bump.
Are we counting
Sonic
Game Gear
Forces
titles
is
as
the
well?
big exception to this rule in multiple ways, but we're not going to talk about that at this point. At what point can you defend a game on its OST alone? Like, come on.
You can't. You shouldn't
You
defend
can't.
a game on its OST alone. If that's the case, you might as well say, yeah, it was a good album.
Right, like, yeah, exactly.
And it's a joke that me and Miguel, my friend Miguel, will always say is like, "Yo, you like, you know about the new Sonic game? Oh yeah, I heard the soundtrack. It's a really good album. Like, Sega just makes Sonic games just to make good OSTs."
Yakuza is also peak game design if you really think about it.
Yakuza? I have not played Yakuza.
You should. Yakuza is.
I've only
Here's the-
played
okay.
2 games of Yakuza. I played the Yakuza 1 and Yakuza 2. I didn't finish the second one, but I will say that in terms of what it's supposed to represent is very interesting and is fun.
Well,
I don't know.
I didn't realize. I just had a different realization. Now I hear all of these titles that it's like we talked about Beautiful Joe, Yakuza, and it's like this is all stuff that people like. I haven't played or owned any of it. And it's like,
But okay, so and then that goes back to the question: what's peak game design for you? Like, what do you hold so dearly to you? That's like a perfect 10 out of 10 game. Like,
And to be honest with you, Animal, for you to even answer that question, because I know you said earlier that you don't have an answer to it. The only way to answer that question is, to experience more of these games so you could understand
Here's the problem,
what
though.
it is.
games cost money. It's like,
No, I feel games do cost money, yeah.
that's the
that's-
problem, though. It's like,
You're
this-
research, unfortunately, doesn't come cheap.
yeah,
Research
it's like
doesn't come cheap.
there's a big problem. It's like this is not a cheap hobby. You can be
fucking tell
very
me about
frugal
it.
with this hobby, but it's not a cheap hobby.
You could tell me about it. I've been doing this since I was a fucking kid.
I've been doing this, we all been doing this since we were kids. That's the reason why we're sticking with it, because we grew up with this shit. So it's hard to leave the thing you grew up with.
Like, it sucks to have an expensive hobby, but god damn it, am I always enjoying the ride.
Yeah, like I was almost about to I was losing my mind when I was playing the Final Fantasy 14 story. Like the recent patch, like, oh my god, I was losing my fucking mind. And like no other and video games just give you a different kind of experience than watching like shows or movies. Like, yeah, shows and movies are like, oh yeah, that was good writing, but like there's no.
I think we're missing the point. It's like,
Here's the thing, we can't really get to the point of what is peak game design, because what me and Kai find as peak game design are two completely different things, while you don't have an opinion on what peak game design is.
because my wallet can't afford peak game design.
Look, if there was a way I could send you games just for you to try them, I would.
I mean, you
But-
can through legally obtained copies, but come on.
I mean, I have legally obtained copies, however, I do need these games back in my collection.
I mean, I don't want to establish my entire experience of games on big air quotes legally obtained copies, because that just seems like wrong. You know what I mean?
it's wrong, but then I look at it like this. If the developers / publishers aren't making money off of it, there's no harm.
I mean, that's what I said when I first played Persona 4. I got a legally obtained copy. I had some fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it, actually. Then I had to stop because I got I had something else I had to do. And now P4 Golden is released on PC. So it's like, okay, I don't need that legally obtained copy anymore. Like,
Like, yeah, like, if there's a way that I could get, buy the game.
I also still
buy
haven't
the game.
bought that. I also still haven't bought that PC port yet. So, bleh.
But, like, if there was a way that I could just buy the game, I'll definitely, pour money just to get the game. But if there's no way that I could legally obtain the game that doesn't go directly to the developers and it's just some schmuck living in buttfuck Egypt, I'm emulating
What?
it. I don't give a fuck.
Bumfuck Egypt. That sounds like you mean like bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah, like that's what I thought you were gonna say, bro. What?
BFE.
What's wrong with Egypt, bro?
Yeah, BFE. You never
What did
heard-
Egypt do to you?
You don't know BFE?
No, I know BFN, but not BFE.
That's how far it
I
is.
know about BFGs too, but not BFE. Not BFE.
Alright, so yeah, BFE. That's something that's said that's been said a lot down here.
Like I've never heard that term before.
Yeah, but fuck Egypt.
I've never heard that before today.
Well, alright, I know this is like unrelated, but do you know about Timbuktu?
Yes.
Okay. Then just take whatever I just said and just add Timbuktu.
Okay.
And there, it just makes sense now.
I mean, yes. I mean, I knew what you meant. I just like I've never heard that. I've never heard that term before.
Vocabulary is great, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so side note, I've tested every character in this game. For some reason, Chaos Zero does not have a normal grab.
He does
Even
not
in
have
this
a grab.
upgraded version, he still has no normal grab.
Oh, well, I guess he just can't grab normal. He can't universal grab, I guess.
He has a command grab, but
And you could combo off of that command grab.
you can combo into the command
Oh, you
grab.
could combo into it, okay.
You cannot combo out of it because it launches him to the opposite side of the screen, and Chaos don't have shadow teleports. He can't whiz over there easily, so...
Can you cancel into super?
Yes. Let me see if I can time it so that, like, they're not launched by the time I have to... No, I think by the time you can cancel, they're already flying to the opposite side of the screen.
Can you burst and then just wave dash over?
You probably can. I don't know how to wave dash in this game because Chaos can't dash midair. He has no midair actions.
Wave dashing is when you use the dash macro. Or
That's all
whatever-
3 buttons.
Oh, all 3 buttons for a dash. Oh, I could have sworn it
Yeah.
was just 2 buttons, like L and M or something.
Wait.
Shit like
It is only 2 buttons. It's actually any 2 buttons.
Oh, any 2 buttons. Okay, so when you
Oh
dash,
my.
you just tap down and that's
Oh
wave
my.
dashing.
Okay.
Wave dashing in Marvel vs. Capcom games and games similar are different than what wave dashing is in Smash Brothers.
Okay. You probably can if you knew how to wave dash better than I do.
I'll probably figure that out later whenever I get to the ladder.
But yeah, all in all,
You can. I think you can burst out of it on like the right side. Like if you're in the corner and you command grab them, you can still burst out of the command grab and keep them in the corner and continue a combo. So It's probably fine.
Kaz, you were gonna say something?
Yeah.
Can I wrap that? Oh, am I here? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, you're here.
You.
So, peak game design is whatever you want it to be. Like, depends on the game you want to make and like what you.
If I think of games that just can't go wrong, I feel like Monster Hunter for me is a franchise that just can't go wrong.
Cough, the first game, cough.
Excluding the first game, but
Cough, Freedom Unite, cough.
maybe okay. Okay, Freedom Unite was better, but it's not perfect. Okay, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and Beyond can't go wrong. There we go. Is that better for you, Kaz? Is that better for you?
It's like Kaz.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, I know people like Monster Hunter 3, even though that had underwater mechanics.
Try and 3 Ultimates, people got used to the water, you know, like, and there was enough fights on land to make up for it.
Yes. So I think by Try and 3U, it was getting on track.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go and try 3U since that was on the Wii U. I forgot that was a
And
game.
the 3DS, actually. It had a 3DS for it. Oh, I know what I could probably do. Hold up. Okay, that'd be too slow. But
I kind of understand where Kaz was coming from, though, with what he was trying to say, that peak game design is whatever you want it to be, and that's where people would take inspirations from other games, because that's what they feel in terms of what they experience is the pinnacle of the genre, the experience for this genre. Like,
yeah, like if you want to make a fighting game, like what do you value in a fighting game? Because you say yourself you want something that's footsie oriented, but can at least reward you for the combo, like reward you for learning the combos.
in which case,
like,
that is definitely Street Fighter.
I want a game with a strong neutral, but come on, combos are cool, and I do want to be rewarded for being in the lab to practice combos. I know being in the lab is more than just combos, but like, when you're not practicing like interactions, or if the game doesn't have a functionality that lets you practice like character specific interactions, come on, combos are fine. Like,
Combos are fun.
And like on the games you have played are both on the extremes.
yeah, the game I'm playing right now, like, I don't know how neutral is in. It's Marvel, but it's 1v1, so it's not as crazy. But
look, Marvel doesn't have neutral. I don't care what people say. Marvel does not have neutral.
Well, it does have neutral. It's just a different type of neutral.
Dragon Ball, like the 3v3,
have to keep up with.
The 3v3 neutral is just its own neutral.
Yeah.
Like Marvel's just fishing. Like Marvel and Dragon Ball are fishing for hits. That game's neutral.
Yeah, just call out assists, throw out projectiles. It's fucking. It's the projectile game pretty much. Throwing out assists and throwing out projectiles. See who gets it. And just confirm the attack.
Yeah, because no one is really playing the ground game in Dragon Ball unless like they're blocking. Yeah. And even then, you have to sit there and just eat a 40-second block string.
Yeah, and don't get hit by Bardock B assist. That move is criminally good, by the way. B assist on Bardock. That shit leaves you on stun forever.
Ever. Chaos, why do you have Terry animations? Why do you have so many Terry animations?
Rising tackle.
But yeah.
The animation for when he sets the puddle down, it's just Power Wave. It's just the power wave animation. Only he sets a thing down.
God, I love these people.
Yeah, he has a rising tackle, and level 3 is just Buster Wolf. Cause why not?
Smash Brothers Buster Wolf with the freaking triple power geyser into Buster Wolf combo.
Yep.
That sounds like a Neo Max combo now I'm thinking about it from KOF.
It probably would be.
Yeah, so like,
But anyway,
Yeah, do we have anything else to add to this topic?
no.
I feel like honestly, I do, but given who I'm talking to, we probably won't stick with it.
Until like after the stream.
I mean, we could go like after the stream. Kirby wants to join the call.
It's 2 in the morning. I'm actually tired.
Wait, it is?
Dude, it's 2:22.
Oh, geez, I should go to bed.
Hashtag not on the East Coast. Hashtag it's still 12 o'clock.
It just hit midnight for this motherfucker. God damn fucking mountain time.
No one exists in Mountain Time. It's you're either on the East Coast or the West Coast. There's no in between.
Yeah, there is. Stop lying to me.
No. People who play video games. There's no one in Colorado plays video games. There's no one. The only central person I know is Todd and like one other person. That's it. And then I barely know any other like mountain people.
Well, I know there's people in Chicago that play video games.
I mean, okay, but that's not
That
the
is
argument.
a whole different time zone too.
I mean, yeah, but that's not their argument, though.
I thought the argument was that you're only on the East Coast or the West Coast, and there's no in between. That's what he said.
There literally isn't. Like, you only need like 1 or 2 people that lives in your time zone, and you're just like, okay. I guess everyone lives on the East Coast or West Coast, and never in between.
Well, that's where all the studios are, or Texas. You're either on the East Coast, the West Coast,
or you're Texas. Oh my god, you're right. You're either West or East, or maybe Texas. I don't know, but
yeah,
anything in between doesn't exist because we don't hear anything from it.
Yeah, like I know Texas had Screw Attack and Rooster Teeth, and they just kind of merged.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of. I'm trying to think of like where a lot of competitive players come from, and it's like
West from the coast, West and
yeah,
East.
it's usually West and East. There's like I said, there's no fucking in between.
Or you're from Texas.
Or you're from Texas, because.
Wait, where was Lil Majin from?
I have no idea.
Shoot. I want to say, let me do a quick Google search.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Lil Majin. I just got United States.
Yeah, it just says United States. I know Jimmy J. Tran is also, and like, there's a lot of good American players like Jimmy J. Tran, Anakin, Lil Majin. Fucking Jimmy J is insane though.
He's from Tennessee.
That's right, Tennessee.
That's still east enough.
Yeah, that's counting that counts as an East Coast.
Yeah, that's east enough. Like, we don't hear about people from like Arkansas that play fighting games.
Yo, what motherfucker comes from Arkansas?
I mean, we have a strong FGC scene here, but like, they don't really make headlines. Like, we have a good community here. It's just you don't hear much.
Because they don't go anywhere, apparently.
Because Colorado's too expensive to go anywhere. So we can't afford to go out to other places.
And even then, like, even if you don't go anywhere, like, where do you make... It's like, you guys may be strong, but if we don't see you, we don't know you exist. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's what happened to Pakistan.
They're the sleepers, dude.
Yeah, Pakistan was a big sleeper country. Like, no one thought Pakistan would be such a strong country in Tekken.
Then they picked up Akuma, and... Oof.
Oh no, Arslan Ash plays Kasumi.
Kasumi Mishima.
Oh, I thought Akuma was really big out of Pakistan.
Yeah,
Him and Geese.
Yeah, the 2D characters are more popular in like the sleeper countries. Like the people who've been playing 2D games for their lives before Tekken came out.
But you know what? But you get my point. It's like you don't hear a lot of Midwest fighting game players, which is interesting.
Yeah, like they again, because all the strong competition is either on the East or the West.
Right.
Like you hear stories about like SoCal and NorCal and
then just East Coast.
That's just one state.
Yeah, like hell.
Bro, the amount of fucking NorCal versus SoCal.
Yeah, like
for the FGC is fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, there's so much NorCal versus SoCal because those are both strong communities, and it's just ridiculous.
And then I hear most of the most of the strong players that are from the East magically come out of Florida. I'm here wondering, yo, where's North and South Florida happening?
I mean, you guys get CEO, but that's all I hear about for Florida.
I know.
Apparently,
I know there's a scene in Florida because there has to be. Like, it's too big of a state to not have a scene.
There is some like minor locals here, like very small locals, but it brings people. It definitely brings people in, and there was there was a Smash scene in my at one of the campuses near me, and that shit was pretty sweaty.
oof.
So
Well,
we do have scenes, but I feel it's like we kind of keep it like an underground thing.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's...
Well, to wrap this up, I think I'm gonna head out. I feel like I have a lot more to say, but I won't be able to say it.
Wait till tomorrow, I'll be streaming again.
I just feel like I can't keep up with the conversation that I wound up starting.
I don't know how we keep changing subjects.
That's just human conversation.
But see, alright. Animal Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what else I could even add to that, to your topic. I really don't.
I mean, it was just a hypothetical, really. Like it's a very simple topic at the end of the day. Like what makes a game like top of the line for you? Like what makes it fun?
That would go into what we find fun in a video game.
And fun is probably the most subjective thing about video games. Like
it really is, and that's also genre dependent.
Yeah.
I mean, video games are art at the end of the day, and art is subjective.
peak design could, top of the line could also refer into graphical fidelity, which would go play in part with the art concept. And then you
Can
also
I have-
sound
okay.
design. So in terms of peak
Okay.
gameplay,
Peak gameplay, I don't know. But Kaz did bring up a thing that I do feel like is something to chew on. Do you guys consider video games an art form? I don't.
yeah,
I honestly don't know. Because
video games aren't art.
I can see both sides of the spectrum.
I don't know. I feel like you can lump video games into the arts, but I don't know.
Well, if you think about it this way, a lot of creative talent has to go into video games, and like art comes out of creative talent,
Right.
and like you have to someone has a vision, right, and they want to paint it or they want to build it. Like you do, it's all built graphically through computers, so it's no different than like painting a.
Well, let me put it this way. Like, remember there was that meme? Not even a meme. It was like a weird like piece. It was just a banana duct taped to a wall, and people tried to consider that art. Does that count?
There's a little. Well, yeah, the guy's just a joke artist. Like I talked about it in art class. Like what he does is just literally joke arts.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like if you actually look up the guy who did the art, like he's literally just a joke artist.
Okay, but when you
again,
take something like that into consideration, like to what extent will people consider art, even if it's just a banana duct taped to a wall? Like,
I mean,
is Sonic 06 a piece of art?
I mean, I've seen pieces of art that are literally just lines, and people will pay millions for that.
But at what point can a piece of entertainment be considered a art form?
It depends on
A
who's
video
who.
game is a conglomeration of a bunch of.
Okay, if you put,
You know what? Yes, so because it is a conglomeration of a bunch of art forms to create one big experience of a piece. So yeah, it's just a different type of art that you wouldn't consider like in the same vein as other pieces of art because it elicits a different feeling, I guess.
But keep in mind, like a lot of the reasons that these arts are being sold for so much is because of the artist's name. It's not because of the.
That doesn't have any bearings on the topic at all.
No, it does. Because when you think Metal Gear, you think, oh, Kojima made that game, because he did. Like, he got a team of people that were also passionate about this series, and he put their vision onto them, and he was like, okay, guys, help me make this game.
How does that factor into the argument of whether or not the video game is a piece of art?
Because
it doesn't matter who made it at the end of the day. Remember, people other than Kojima made Metal Gear Survive.
yeah, but he's still the creative director. Like that's the special name, creative director.
Okay,
Like, you need story writers, you need artists. It's a bunch of.
That's what I was saying. Like, it's a conglomeration of a bunch of different people to make one big piece that
And
is
like
an experience that elicits emotions. So yeah, it would be video games are art.
It's a
It's
mixture
just
of
a
all.
different type of art.
it's a different kind of art that not a lot of people will want to accept.
And like take a look at all the world building. Like people need to design the worlds and cities. It's like
Yes,
and-
guys, we've said that.
It's the fact that that somebody made it would just be an art form. Like you could take a piece of wood, chip it down, and call it an artwork, right? Like, you can make a little wheelbarrow out of wood. Like, just a miniature model, and it's an art. It's artwork.
Even just like posing like random objects, like on a table, like just like around your house. Like, oh, I have a water bottle. Oh, I have like a pen. I have my wallet. I can like make a little fixture out of something.
Like, if you're able to make something out of it, it might as well be considered an artwork.
And then even if you take a picture with it, it's just like, okay, and like because you still have to like frame and get a good composition, and like even with a phone, like.
Kaz, I feel like you're going in a different direction than what we're.
I don't know where we're going. I'm tired.
What? It's like, what are you? Where are you going with this?
I think I need to just.
Okay. I was hoping that Kaz was actually getting my point, but now I think he's not even anywhere near
my mind is like in two different places right now.
Yo,
like
my head's in like 83 different places, and I'm here wondering why I'm still awake.
I'm thinking, like, my guy, where are you going? Where are you going with this?
I'm just gonna see myself out.
that sudden, like, alright, I'm gonna head out, fam. Like,
Maz just got up and just left. Oh my god.
oh, that was good.
And I'm still fucking streaming.
That means it was all recorded.
Yep, and I'm gonna have to scrub all the way through this just to highlight this and call it the podcast.
5 hour and 30 minutes.
Oh my god, and I still have to find a clip.